You got a nice big grin on your face. That must mean you had a great time.
This was a fun, I mean, it's much happier than talking about the Cobalt, that's for sure. This is a really exciting car. I mean, the supercar world is blowing up these days. You know, when Ferrari first started out a billion years ago, you know, and then Lamborghini came along, these were the only exotic car makers out there. Now, you know, the companies like Lamborghini have to be great cars because there's so much competition. You know, these are the segment of cars that's blowing up around the world.
And I thought it was because VW owns Lamborghini, and I have a feeling that the people in Wolfsburg and VW land, they're not going to stand for a car that doesn't work.
Used to be, you know, you wanted the air conditioning to work on a Lamborghini, you wanted to see behind you. These were things that were not
Seeing behind you, how retro, right?
Yeah, how silly, right? So, you know, this car does share a lot of things with its Audi brother. You know, the infotainment system, you know, the engine is certainly shared with some of the technology with the R8, Audi AR, and back and forth. So this suddenly is a very grown-up car. It looks very cool. It's very fast, but you can drive it around town and not, you know, worry about backing up and knocking into things.
Well, that's because it's got a camera, right?
It's got a camera, yeah, a camera that actually works, and it beeps at you. It tells you when you're about to hit something. The point of it, of course, is to have attention but not seem completely silly. The old school Lamborghinis, you got a lot of attention, but you might look pretty silly. This car is, you could pretty much drive it around every day, and it's a lot classier than the sort of Lamborghinis of old.
Now, I note in your column, Jason, which people can read on Bloomberg.com.
And should, I hope, yeah.
That it comes in colors that have nothing to do with nature. Let's go through some of the specs if we can, right? All a four-wheel drive, V10, not turbocharged.
Naturally aspirated
mid-engine, right? So this is not something that, this is a pure sports car.
It is, and you know the thing you get for that is an engine that revs really high. It's situated behind.
What'd you say? 8,500 RPM?
I think 82,500 is
okay.
Kind of where it goes up to, but it just screams in your ear behind you, which is just the sound of a naturally breathing engine is different than a turbocharger or a supercharger, and all these engines are going away. Ferrari just released its convertible California, which is its first turbo in a long time. We're going to see a lot more of these. So this is, and now Lamborghini's going to stay with this naturally aspirated engine for a while, which is very cool.
And you mentioned also in your report that you made a little mistake driving this on the track, but it corrected for you. Tell us about that.
You know, I was driving hard. I was on a racetrack and I was driving hard. Things were going well, and I probably had a moment.
What is driving hard? Come on, numbers. I like to, how fast?
On a racetrack, if you're looking at the speedometer, you're looking at the wrong place. You want to be looking at.
Well, about.
But it's corners. You know, you're probably 120 miles an hour into a big corner, braking hard, turning it 45 or 50 miles an hour. At one point, I just got it wrong, and at those speeds, you know, things could happen. You're probably not going to get killed, but you could hurt the car. And now all the modern electronics on the Lambo are so good that it breaks an inside wheel so that it pulls you back into sort of the direction that it knows that you want to be going. Basically, electronics are better than you are as a driver. This car makes you think you're a better driver than you probably really are when you're driving it that hard. And, you know, there's no penalty. I mean,
but in these neon colors, I mean, who cares, right?
Well,
I mean,
well, at one point, I
did
pull behind a very slow driver on a narrow road, and I said, and my pastor said, "Oh, you should pass him." I said, "Well, I don't think he can see me." And he said, "Well, you know, if the orange Lamborghini pulls behind you, you know, you don't notice it. You're probably not the most attuned driver in the world."
You want one? And I noticed also that well, first of all, you like one? You want one?
I don't know if I want one. I respect one.
Okay.
And that is different than probably when the Gallardo first came out, which is the predecessor.
Right.
It was wasn't a great car. You took it out and it didn't do a great job. This car, you know, you take a Ferrari guy and put him in this car and he will not deride that car.
And
say that's a good car.
And in auto industry lingo, it's a Lambo. It's not a Lamborghini anymore, right?
Oh, it's a Lamborghini. I bet you, you know, guys at Lamborghini want you to call it a Lamborghini.
Well, they paid for that extra bit at the end.
Exactly.
Yeah.